The icy wind swept through the streets of New York City as people hurried to work without looking at the faces around them. Yellow taxis honked, skyscrapers reflected the morning sunlight, and life moved at its usual fast pace. In front of the luxurious Grand Crown Hotel, expensive cars stopped one after another, dropping off wealthy guests dressed in elegant suits and designer gowns. Just a few steps away from the grand entrance stood an elderly man wearing a torn brown coat. His shoes were worn out, his gray beard was untrimmed, and he carried nothing but an old backpack. His face showed years of hardship, yet his eyes remained calm and kind. He wasn't begging for money. He only hoped to stand near the hotel's warm entrance for a few minutes to escape the freezing cold. As he slowly walked toward the doorway, several guests noticed him. A businessman frowned and whispered to his wife, "Someone should get this homeless man away. He's ruining the atmosphere." Within seconds, more people began staring. Some laughed quietly while others covered their noses as if the old man didn't belong there. A security guard immediately stepped forward. "Hey! You can't stand here," he said sharply. The old man politely replied, "Sir, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just trying to stay warm for a moment." The guard didn't care. He grabbed the old man's arm and pushed him back toward the sidewalk. "Move along before I call the police." The old man nearly lost his balance but managed to stay on his feet. He simply lowered his head and walked a few steps away without arguing. Many people watched the scene, but no one offered help. Inside the hotel, a young waitress named Emily had witnessed everything through the glass doors. She couldn't ignore what she had just seen. Although she knew her manager expected every employee to focus only on the wealthy guests, her heart told her to do something different. Emily quietly walked into the kitchen. She filled a bowl with hot chicken soup, added fresh bread, poured a cup of coffee, and grabbed a warm blanket kept for emergencies. Ignoring the surprised looks from her coworkers, she carried everything outside. She gently approached the old man. "Sir," she said with a warm smile, "please have something to eat. It's freezing out here." The old man's hands trembled as he accepted the soup. "For me?" he asked softly. Emily nodded. "Everyone deserves kindness." Tears slowly filled the old man's eyes. "I haven't heard words like that in many years," he whispered. Several wealthy guests noticed Emily helping him and began laughing again. "She's wasting food on a homeless man," one woman mocked. Another man pulled out his phone and started recording, expecting everyone online to laugh as well. Emily ignored every insult. She simply smiled and stayed beside the old man while he slowly ate his meal. None of the people standing outside the hotel had the slightest idea that this quiet, humble stranger carried a secret so powerful that, before the day was over, it would completely change the lives of everyone who had humiliated him. To be continued, the crowd continued to laugh as the old man quietly finished his bowl of soup. Emily collected the empty bowl and smiled warmly. "Thank you for treating me like a human being," the old man said. "Most people only see my clothes. They never look at my heart." Emily replied softly, "Kindness doesn't cost anything." Just then, a black luxury SUV stopped in front of the hotel. Everyone assumed another wealthy guest had arrived. Instead, two men in expensive suits quickly stepped out and walked straight toward the old stranger. To everyone's surprise, they respectfully bowed. "Mr. Harrison," one of them said, "we've been searching for you everywhere. The board meeting starts in 30 minutes. The crowd fell completely silent. The hotel manager stared in disbelief. "What, did you just call him?" The man answered confidently, "Mr. William Harrison, the founder of the Harrison Hope Foundation and one of the largest donors to homeless shelters across America." Gasps spread through the crowd. The old man's appearance had been intentional. Every year, William Harrison spent one day living as a homeless man to see how society treated people with nothing. He believed that a person's true character appeared when there was no reward for being kind. The security guard who had pushed him turned pale. I'm so sorry, sir." William looked at him calmly. "I'm not upset because you didn't recognize me," he said. I'm disappointed because you forgot that every human being deserves respect. The businessman who had mocked him lowered his head in shame. Then William turned toward Emily. You were the only person who treated me with dignity, he said. Emily smiled nervously. I only did what I thought was right. William nodded. And that's exactly why people like you deserve opportunities. He handed the hotel manager an envelope. I was planning to donate $5 million to this hotel's charity event. That donation is canceled. The manager's face turned white. Instead, William continued, that money will be used to create scholarships, emergency housing, and food programs for families in need. And I want Emily to lead the first community outreach project. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Me? Yes, William replied. Compassion is a better qualification than any resume. The guests who had laughed moments earlier stood in complete silence, embarrassed by their own behavior. Before leaving, William looked around one last time. Never judge a person by their clothes, their job, or their bank account. The greatest wealth anyone can possess is kindness. He stepped into the SUV and drove away. That single day changed everyone forever. The security staff received training on treating every visitor with respect. The hotel launched new programs to help homeless people. Emily was promoted to Community Relations Director, where she helped thousands of struggling families. And every winter, she placed a sign outside the hotel that read, Everyone deserves warmth, respect, and kindness. Because one simple act of compassion had proven a truth that no amount of money could ever buy. The way you treat people who can do nothing for you reveals who you truly are. The end.